Show. With me, your host, Big Van. Social media producer, Mazzani. Don't forget about producer Sage. With Shay on cameras, intern Eli on audio. And all the super fans that ask the questions and make this the most unpredictable show on the internet. Before we begin, be sure to take just a second and share this live stream on whatever social media platform you're watching from. By doing this, we can see that you really care and we'll move your questions and comments to the top. All right, let's get this party started. We look forward to seeing you and your questions and comments on this live episode of the Ask Big Van Show. What's happening, everybody in the whole wide world? Welcome to the Ask Big Van Show, another episode where we will change your life tonight over the next hour with all of our amazing answers to amazing questions that you've brought to us. I'm sorry, that was super corny. With me tonight, as always, is Mazzani, our social media producer. Mazzani speaks. What's happening, Mazzani?
Nothing, obviously, so I was looking like that.
What's happening? Hey, also with us is our amazing, well, before now she was our TV producer, or our cameras producer, but she's actually covering for Sage. As our main producer today is Shay, but we're not going to show her to you because then she'll have to kill you. So, but thanks for watching the show tonight, being a part. A lot of you have already put questions in our pre-show post where we just kind of say, hey, everybody, we're going to be live tonight at 8. If you've got any questions, put them here, and we can go ahead and queue them up. So a lot of questions have already come in there. Go ahead and ask questions during the show. Make sure you preface them by saying hashtag AskBigVan or the @ AskBigVan, and we'll make sure and get that taken care of. Put them in the queue, and hopefully we can get to those tonight. If we don't, we'll probably put them on for next week, and so make sure you watch next week if we don't get to your question tonight. So, Mazzani, what do you think? Are we ready to go ahead and kick it with our first question?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of that.
All right. Look at Shay's throwing up some labels.
No, I'm not doing that, Mazzani.
I did not hit that.
Mazzani? What are you doing?
Dude, why is it not? Okay, I'm not touching it. Nothing else. From now on, I'm gonna say, I'm sending it now, and I'm going to give it to you. I literally just hit send, and it put that up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, we'll throw the question up there, Shay.
See?
Oh, yeah, just let Shay do it then.
I'm not hitting anything.
Oh, hey, remember the numbers at the top, Shay?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
It's going to be all right.
Well, ask the question, and she'll throw it up when she gets it.
Okay, so this one comes from Leah Noble. She wants to know, why are some of the same people who advocate mandatory vaccinations the same people who advocate for a woman's right to her own body, thus mandating pro-choice?
So the same people, why are the same? Wow, that's a heavy one to start with. Why are the same people who are advocating mandatory vaccines the same people who are arguing that they should have a choice? Is that what the question is? Oh, okay. I don't know. Are they the same people? Are they all? I mean, I'd have to do some studies on that myself, but I am aware of the vaccine issue. I don't know that I agree with any of it. You know, I think if a parent doesn't want to vaccinate their kid, then they probably. I mean, if you're going to mandate people's bodies. I understand her question more now. She's saying that,
Hypocrites.
Should the government mandate people's bodies in any form or fashion, right? I don't know that the pro-choice thing is mandating people's bodies, because I think the pro-choice thing is more about the government protecting people's bodies. You know what I mean? Protecting the bodies of the babies, right? So that's kind of the whole argument. There you go. I don't know. I think I don't think that the government should come in and mandate what somebody should do with their body. If they don't want to take vaccines, they shouldn't have to. If they want to take vaccines, they should be allowed to. It's their body, as long as it doesn't affect, like they're putting some kind of a. If somebody says, hey, you know what, I want to be afflicted with the Black Plague, so I'm going to take this, but that's going to kick it all over the place, and everybody else is going to get it. So that wouldn't work. Let's go to another question. Good question. Thanks, Leah, for asking that.
Okay, so our next question. Let's see if this.
Hey,
one
let's see
works.
if Shay's got that worked out. What are you thinking there?
Only showing. Stop.
I'm not clicking nothing.
She's not clicking anything.
That's the only one that's showing.
Throw the camera on Mazzani and let me see that thing.
You were like, throw the camera on Mazzani.
Yeah, so she can just make stuff up
Put
to
me
talk
on the
about.
spot. Oh gosh, I'm really struggling today with things to talk about. My brain is mush.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to talk about?
How about we just go ahead and tell people once again to go ahead and share this show to your friends, and to go ahead and go onto our YouTube page and check out some of the clips that we just uploaded.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so. Go do that right now.
Okay.
Just share it right now. Don't leave the show. We're just working on some technical difficulties. We'll get it together. We always do. If you want to, actually, you can give us some tips for how to avoid things like this. That would be
Hey,
great.
that's me. There's Mazzani's camera there, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, it might be this iPad is messing up. No, that wouldn't be good.
I keep seeing that.
Hey, there's Mazzani.
Oh, gracious.
All right, so that's the show. Now throw the question. Shay, let's see.
You want me to hit send?
Yeah, hit send. Hey, there's Big Van.
No, I'm joking. Also, while we're on this topic here, I noticed that Mark Teague had asked if you would do the Get Up challenge, which you said
No.
that you didn't know what it was. I think we should start a poll on that. I'd be really happy to see you do the Get Up challenge.
That's crazy talk. Crazy talk.
Is it really that crazy?
Yeah.
Would you do it if we got enough voters, like enough people who are like, yeah, we want to see you do it? Like, we'll all tune in to see you do it. Pause. What'd you say?
Yeah, Mazzani can do it.
I'm not doing it. No, they requested you specifically. I'm joking.
Pacific.
Specifically. I know it's not specifically.
Okay, let's see something.
I apologize for the delay, you guys. While we're doing this, though, there is a good question that I was going to go with next, and it's from Shakia Barnes. She wanted to know if dogs could talk, what would yours say? And I'm just thinking in my mind that my dog would probably say,
Try sending it now.
huh?
Try sending it now. There we go.
Now we're cooking with grits.
I know nobody likes it.
I said, now we're cooking with grits.
Yeah.
All right, I'm glad. That's why I just asked this question legit. So, our this next question comes from Shakia Barnes. She wants to know if dogs could talk, what would they say?
Dogs?
Yeah, particularly like your animal, I guess. If your dogs could talk, what would they say?
Let's see. My dogs. We have a little yapper dog. My wife has a little yapper dog, and also we have like a rescue lab mix. Sweet dog. She's older. We've had her forever. Her name's Osprey, and our rescue dog, or she's the rescue dog, and the yapper dog is Mozart. I know what they say. I can hear what they're. I'm not the dog whisperer, but I can understand them. Mozart screaming squirrel, and Osprey saying "Shut up, Mozart." That's pretty much what they would be saying the whole time, right? So like whenever there's like and people walk down the street too. Like if somebody's walking down the street, you'll hear Osprey. She's older. She's like a little old lady, and she'll be like, "Hey, what you doing out there? How's it going? Hey," and, you know, it's kind of like woof woof woof.
That's
you know,
the
it's
old
like
lady?
that. That's like how she sounds, right? She's like woof woof. You know. Basically, she's saying, "Hey, somebody's out there. Check it out. Somebody's outside." You know. But the little yapper dog Mozart, he looks out the window and he's like, "Oh my gosh, there's somebody outside! Oh my gosh!" You know, yep, 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 yep. You know what I'm talking about? Freaking out. So, what?
My soul.
Did I scare you?
Yeah.
That's how we feel. He's middle of the day, middle of the night, screaming at the top of his lungs. It's crazy.
Can't relate. I don't have any small dogs. All my dogs have been huge mammoths.
What do they sound like when they talk?
Well, Carlitos, he's an old man, and he just gets irritated at other dogs when they come in the yard, or if my grandma doesn't give him enough attention.
Yeah, but what's his words? What words would he be using?
He cussing.
Are they cuss words? Yeah.
He be cussing.
Yeah, that's not good.
He does. I could tell because he be cussing me. He don't like me. He's mainly my grandma's baby, but I just say that he's my dog, I guess.
Yeah.
But he don't like me when I go down there or whenever he comes up, because he's smart. There is something about him that's so intelligent. He came up to me the other day. He was like, are you not going to give me no snacks? That's his looks. He can talk with his looks. But then when he opened his mouth, he just sounds like, like he's cussing me out. Like, you don't do nothing all day, and you gonna come home and not give me no attention, and you want me to be nice to you? Get out of my face. I live here. You don't. That's how he acts. Swear.
Yeah. How old is he?
I think he's like 4 years old.
Oh, that's not old enough to act like that.
Well, he is. He's disrespectful.
If you got dogs, let us know in the comments what they would say if they could talk. What their thought patterns are, and what their languages would be. Not bad language, obviously, but let us know what your dog's typical things that they would say if they had English as a language that they spoke. So looks like we got the technical stuff worked out. Awesome. Thank you very much, Shay, for working that out. And thank you, everybody, for being patient. Now that we're rolling, if you can, share the show. If you don't mind, just hit the share button. Send it out there. Send your questions. We'd love to get to them as we travel along this journey tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Ask Big Van show. Where are we going next there, Mazzani? I saw you popped one up.
Yeah, so I was ready. This question comes from Joshua Delauder. Thank you for being a milestone sharer with us in the community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Josh shares all the time on the show.
He does. He wants to know, what do you think about Trump waiving student loans for veterans?
I think it's a brilliant idea. I think that I thought veterans got their schooling paid for anyways, didn't they? And aren't you familiar with that? Like, I'm pretty sure that most of the military people I've talked to get schooling paid for, but maybe this is talking about the extra stuff. And it wasn't, what the article I read wasn't for all veterans, but I think all veterans should have their schooling waived. Absolutely. I think I think they should have their schooling waived. I think that they should have their housing paid for. I think people that have gone to war for our country to make this country what it is should have everything. I think they should be treated like kings. I honestly do. I think we would have nothing as a country without our military, And so I definitely think that any veterans and military personnel should be treated like gangster kings, Not gangster, but, What do you think about that, Mazzani? You don't agree, or you do?
No,
agree?
I agree. It's just the way you said gangster.
Yeah.
Like,
that's an adjective I use sometimes to hyperbole
I'm
my
aware.
pronunciation.
Just for future reference, it's gangsta.
Gangsta?
Yeah.
No, not for me, because I'm old and it's gangster.
Okay, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's great. And whatever we can do for them, period. I actually know a veteran right now, and he's homeless, and he served our country, and he has nowhere to go, and he's mistreated, and he has health issues, and he's always talking about how he goes to the vet's office, I guess is what you call it. I don't know what it's called. Help me.
The VA?
The VA. He goes to the VA all the time.
Yeah.
And they just give him medication. They don't try to fix the problem.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I really hate that for him because, I feel the same way that they deserve more than what they get.
Absolutely.
It's kind of sad how we treat them. And that's the same way we treat our elders, too. If you notice, we treat our elders like we treat our veterans. And that's terrible. I think both of them should be held with more respect.
I think for two different topics, two different discussions. I'm not saying that we should mistreat elders. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But I'm also saying that not every elder deserves to be treated the same way we treat our military persons for the same reasons. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is I think the military personnel should be treated as kings and have their schooling paid for and have their housing paid for, stuff like that, because of the sacrifices that they've done for this country to make it as great of a country that it is. Does that make sense? Whereas just because somebody's older doesn't mean that they've participated in making this a great country. Does that make sense? And just because somebody does participate in making this a great country, like I try to do my part, a lot of people try to do their part, it doesn't mean that they should earn free housing or free healthcare or free whatever.
Well, then in that case, then you can't have double standards. And that, I mean, I don't know how else to put it, in my opinion. I didn't mean it in that light. I just mean that, our elders should have better housing anyway, because I don't know, I went in a couple of these different senior living facilities, and they're not up to par with what I would want somebody who's lived a long fulfilled life to go to at the end of their life. I guess I get what you're saying too. I do want more for veterans, and maybe these are two separate topics. Yeah. But again, you're gonna face a lot of conflict with that. I don't think a lot of people would agree with that in particular, just because it doesn't seem I guess logical, because you said that not everybody can try to do their part, but not everybody deserves to have free housing or have their school loans paid. Well, a lot of people are going to disagree with that, even though they haven't fought for our country.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that the reason that we have a country, the reason we even have a country, and we're not all speaking Chinese or Russian right now, is because of our military. It's not because of our elderly, and I'm not saying any slight against our elderly, obviously. I'm just saying that just because somebody is elderly doesn't constitute or justify a reason why our taxpayers should put our money together and say, here's some money to pay for your housing or pay for the needs that you have. I'm not saying we shouldn't help them. I'm saying we shouldn't take taxpayer dollars to go get them specifically just because they're elderly. Whereas I'm saying that I think we should take taxpayer dollars and support the military because specifically that they are military. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Because we wouldn't have tax dollars. We wouldn't have a pool of taxpayer dollars if there were not a military. So we should pay them back for giving us the ability to even have those dollars to pull from and help elderly and help other people. We wouldn't even have that if it wasn't for military. So why are those people that gave us that pool of tax dollars, why are they out there living on streets? Why are they out there stressing and worrying how they're going to pay their school loans? I'm just saying, that's my opinion. That's how Big Van feels. Okay. I think that our military should be treated like kings, I
started a GoFundMe page to move to Ghana, by the way.
Ghana?
Anywhere but here.
Oh, yeah, you were wanting to move?
Yeah, I thought about that when you said China and Russia.
Yeah, where would you move to, Mazzani? What place in the world would be better than living in America?
Anywhere. I really would like to go to like Ghana or I don't know. I'd like to go back to my roots. I'm supporting the home team.
To live there?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's horrible. It's a horrible place to live.
Yeah, but it's definitely coming. It's coming along. If the more people who go back that are living lives like I get to live right now, and they go and they put down small businesses and they further the economy, that's what's really going to start to build it. And we would have been able to do that already had we not been taken from our home in the past. I feel like we'd be so much further. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we'll have to somebody ask about that.
Yeah. Poke that berry, y'all.
Yeah.
So. All right, yeah, so if you have more comments about that, or if you'd like us to discuss that further, go ahead and put comments about that. Whatever questions or comments you have, put them in the comments below as hashtag AskBigVan, and we'll get to them if we can tonight. If not, we'll try to get to them next week. So, Mazzani, where we going? Yeah, where we going from there?
Yep. And I just want to thank Mark Tigg for commenting. Please share also and like our page.
Hey, Mark, how's it going, buddy? Hey, let me throw some more props to Shay. She is killing it tonight. Did you see that? Did you see the little timer going? That's for all of you that don't like a topic that we're talking about. Just watch the little timer, and we'll stop talking about that when it counts down. That's Shay's way of saying, hey, you guys are rambling on. Bring it around. Let's go to something else. But anyway, she's doing great. She's clicking cameras, she's producing, and she's throwing the timer. Good job, Shay.
Thanks. Okay.
Hey, speaking of which, I can't hear Shay.
I can't either. Is your mic on?
What's up with your microphone?
Oh, I don't know, guys.
If you guys can hear Shay, let us know. If not, let us know so we can work on that. Okay. All right, what we got here?
Our next question comes from Amy Pope. She wants to know, do you think in the near future that you would take your show on the road, like going to different stores, stopping different people, going to family, asking them the same questions to get different opinions on the same question? Do you think that that would be something you would be thinking of doing?
I would be willing to take the show on the road and do some different venues across the country where people come and ask me questions at those venues. Well, I guess we could still do it with this format, but haven't really considered that as of right now. We're still just building the following, building the viewership, getting shares out there. We're getting ready to absolutely launch. So if you guys don't know, all of these shows, we break these questions up into little clips, and we've been just trickling them out there a little bit on our YouTube channel. But we have a whole like pile of them that we're getting ready to just start saturating the market with the Ask Big Van show questions that you have asked as the viewers of this show. So once that takes off and we get a big following and then, all that stuff, we may consider doing traveling to other venues across the country, Amy. So thanks for asking the question, Amy.
Thank you. And our next question comes from Shakia Barnes. She wants to know, what was something that you wanted to say as a child but was too scared to say it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Cuss words.
No, because as a kid, you always sneak off and say cuss words around your friends and stuff, right? You didn't do that, Mazzani?
I cussed for real when I got of age.
What's that mean?
Like when I got in high school, I had no cares.
What does of age mean? Like there's an age where you're allowed to say cuss words and it's not bad words anymore?
Yeah.
No.
And you don't say them around your family or behind them. You just kind of like,
They're
you go to school and you say them to those people that you want to say them to with your friends and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You're comfortable.
That's what I'm talking about. You still didn't say them in front of your family, though, because they were bad words.
I do now.
Do you?
I really do. I'll be honest. I'm working on it.
You don't drop them around here, around our family?
Yeah, and that's all my mama be real. She's like, I bet you won't go over there and do that.
Mm-hmm. See there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're still bad words.
Yeah.
So there's no age where they're not bad words. So I was never afraid of saying bad words because I would say them around my friends, What was something you wanted to say as a child but were too scared? Nothing, I guess. I would say I've never been somebody that's really afraid to say stuff to people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Except for that kid that beat me up in the bathroom in 7th grade. Remember I told you that story? The kid in his underwear.
Yes.
Like I didn't say much to him after that. But most of the time I would say stuff. I'd say whatever I want to say. So
something like serious that I was always scared to say to my parents was like no. Like, you know what I mean? When you ask me to do something, I always, in my mind, like I've always thought, if you ask me, I'm wanting to say no.
Okay.
As opposed to if you just tell me to do it. That's the issue. And I've always wanted to say, no, I don't want to do it. That's what I've always been scared to do because I will get my block knocked off. But then what? We need your mic on. Can you hear her?
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you can hear Shay when she talks.
Yeah. I just, that's my biggest fear. I mean, it still is to this day. Like, my mama asked me to do something, I'm grown, and I'll be wanting to be like, no, and she'd be like,
What'd you say?
What'd you say?
I think you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, and I'll be like, yeah, you're right.
That changed my mind. Yeah, I'm the same way with my parents now, if they ask me something. But what I realize is the older I get, parents don't usually ask you to do futile things. It's like if my mom or my dad ask me to do something, I want to do it now. The older I get, the more I want to do things that they ask me to do, even if it seems futile, like, hey, like my dad says, hand me that thing over there, So I definitely think the older that you get, and you're not old yet, Mazzani, so you don't know, but I think the older that you get, the more you want to do things that your parents ask you to do. And because you recognize the wisdom in the things that they ask you, you recognize the wisdom in the leadership and the advice that they give you. Does that make sense? So, yeah. One time when I was an adult, I was in a rock band. How much time we got left on this, Shay?
I just started.
Oh, okay.
One time when I was an adult.
You can pull that off. Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll just say this real quick. But I was in a rock band. I was in my mid-20s, and my parents called me and said, out of the blue, and said, hey, we've been talking about it, and we think that you should get out of that band. We don't think that it's a good environment for you. And I was like, my first thought was, I'm 25 years, 26 years, I'll do whatever. That was my first thought. But then I thought, you know what? My parents are wise people, and they love me. Why would they even call me if they didn't see trouble down the road that I can't see right now because maybe I'm blinded by my desires for fame and fortune? I'm just kidding. But by my desires for being in a band, So I took their advice and I just got out of it. I just got out of the band. And a couple months later, some bad things went down in that band, and I was really glad I wasn't a part of that. So just so you know, listen to your mom and daddy. Bible says, obey your mother and father, and it will go well with you all the days of your life. That's what it says, Mazzani.
I'm aware, Grandma. That's how
It's the truth.
She don't ever have to guilt me, and that's how she guilts me. She
Yeah.
ain't never got to ask me twice. She'll be like, "What would the Lord want you to
That's
do?"
right. That's right.
And
What
I'd be
would
like,
Jesus do?
"Mama, he would go feed them dogs."
Yeah.
But I'd be like, "The Lord could just." And
That's right. And they fed. They're like
Yeah.
the food's in their belly. They
Yeah.
ain't got to chew. It's just there.
He'd be like, "He's teaching you something."
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so our next question comes from Timothy Blankenship. He wants to know, what do you think about the Amazon rainforest being on fire?
Oh, man. That's, I don't know much about that, to be honest with you.
They're saying it's intentional.
Yeah.
It's been on fire for like 3.5 weeks now.
It's a big area. So to say the Amazon's on fire is kind of, it's a big area. Also, I would imagine it's probably not the first time it's been on fire. And additionally, and it could be my ignorance, but I wouldn't think that it would burn for very long, meaning, like, I don't think the whole Amazon forest is going to burn up into nothing, you know. Just because it's notorious for being wet, right? That's why it's called a rainforest. So, I don't know much about that, Timothy. Kevin, why you got your name as Timothy? Because everybody knows your name's Kevin. So, just saying there, buddy.
I heard that we were sending some troops out there, though, for aid.
Remember when we had all the fires over in California, those forests in California? And that's a fraction of the size of the Amazon, you know? I don't know. I haven't been following a lot of that, so I don't have much to say on that.
I hope we get it out. I pray about it.
Yeah, I will tell you some interesting things though. If you fly over if you fly by air over the Dominican Republic and Haiti, you can see the line. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the air you can see the line between the two countries because the rainforest and just the trees and the shrubbery and everything in Dominican Republic is all lush and green. And in Haiti, it's all dry and dead. Did you know that? It's a true story.
Okay, next question. This one,
you don't even want to know why?
sure. Sure.
Never mind. Let's go to the next question. If nobody wants to know, I'm not even going to talk about
Just tell me
No.
why.
No.
Why? You know, I know why. Because the Lord put his hand down there and he was like, hot.
it. Yeah.
Chili. No, I'm joking. For real. How?
No, I'm not talking about it.
Please.
Nobody wants to know about it.
No, we do. We all want to know.
Okay.
They're commenting. They want to know.
Nobody commented that. Hey, I'll tell you though, what happened was years ago, and this is a true story. This is not a Big Van joke. Many years ago, the leaders of Haiti got together and got like pagan, witch doctors and all these people to come and like, I don't know all the details, but it was some bad stuff. Basically brought some curses on the whole country, and everything in the country dried up. The food dried up, everything, and they went through a long series and still some issues, problems like that. You know, you guys go research that. Research curses on Haiti and stuff. Check it out. It's crazy.
Speaking of curses, I hate to do this because I know we're short on time, but I was just watching this documentary about this place in Africa where there are witch doctors doing sacrifices on kids.
That's old news.
No, but it's like it's just now resurfacing. They were combating that issue, and now it's resurfacing. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And like their government can't afford to prosecute the guys who are doing it, so they're just like going free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a big issue. I was super surprised.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this world that we don't even know about. Like, we think that's all, like slavery. That's still happening. There's still people bought and sold in the slave trades. I'm not talking about the human trafficking that we deal with here in America and other first world countries. I'm talking full-fledged, you own a human being and they're working for you. You know what I mean? And you own them. They do them like slavery. Like, that's happening now to this day in different countries. And people don't even realize it, you know? It's crazy. It's true though. You research it.
I gotta learn stuff. All right.
It is still happening.
All right, so since we're speaking on that, I want to know this question right here. This comes from Jeffrey Turner. Is that the same guy?
No, his picture didn't change.
Oh, cool. So this is Jeffrey Turner.
Well, see if it'll see if it like
Refresh it.
yeah, refresh it. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin and Jeffrey. You guys are swapping profile pics on our software.
Jeffrey Turner wants to know, why is the Book of Enoch missing from the Bible?
There's several books that are old ancient literature, biblical or not biblical, but spiritual literature of that time that are not involved in what we call the Holy Bible. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the way I feel about it is the main reason is because God didn't want them to be part of what we know today as the Holy Bible. If he would have, I don't think that. I mean, I think that they would be in part of the books, that we consider the Holy Bible. Everybody knows that the Bible is, or everybody should know, the Bible is God inspired. What that means is regular human beings like us, we're spending time with the Lord, and He dictated to those people to write down these things. It may not have been as clear cut as like a guy standing with a pen and God speaking in his ear, and he's writing everything that God says down. It's not necessarily like that. It's more like if you read any of the New Testament where Paul is writing letters to people and he's telling everybody, hey, this is how you should live, and this is all that. This is a guy who God was spending time with him. He was spending time with God. And so as he wrote this, he was praying, Lord, how should I tell these people how to live, And as he's writing it, he's, the Lord's speaking with him and in his heart, And so throughout the Bible, that's how the Bible was written. Some of it was more so like the books that Moses wrote. God literally spoke to him and was telling him, here's what happened in history. Okay, so all you people that are right now saying to yourselves, oh, well, I don't know if I can believe all that. Listen to this. The first 5 books of the Bible were written by Moses. Most of those were written because God was speaking to him, telling him, historically, this is how I created the universe, and this is how I created the earth, and this is how I created mankind and all this stuff. And here's the events that happened historically. All that stuff that you guys know about Joseph, Adam and Eve, Abraham, Isaac, all that stuff that we know in the Bible, all that was stuff that God told Moses to write down that happened before. Because Moses didn't come along until 500 years after that, right? Nearly 500 years after Abraham, right? So everything we know about Abraham was written by Moses because God told Moses that's what happened. So now you're asking yourself, well, how do we know that's true then? How do we know Moses just wasn't imagining these things and created this? So how can we even base our biblical foundational beliefs on this Bible, right? There are so many archaeological finds that confirm the first 5 books of the Bible. It will blow your mind. They found the chariots that in the Bible talks about the Pharaoh's chase, the Red Sea part. The story of the Red Sea parting, the chariots and the army of the Pharaoh comes in there and they get all, drowned. They found all that. Archaeologists, they read the Bible, they did the research where they said it happened. They went in there with modern day boats and all these things, found them, So this story that God told Moses to write down, archaeologists now have found all that stuff. Not all of it, but a lot of it, most of it, and it's proof that this story is true. So, wearing me out talking about this. So the point is, throughout the rest of the Bible, we choose as Christians that these things this is the way God communicates with us through His Word. And so, if God wanted the Book of Enoch to be in the Bible, it would be in there. And if it's not in there, that's because clearly God doesn't want that to be part of what we consider the main core scriptures. Now, does Enoch have some validity to it? That's something for you to talk to the Lord about, But it's not in the main book of the Bible because I don't think God wanted it in there. So there you go.
If you want to know more, read it yourself.
Yeah, read stuff about that. So
Okay, so our next question comes from Amy Pope. I got you, Timothy. You're next. But I'm doing Amy's first because she's a sharer. Thank you so much, Amy,
Oh,
for sharing.
thanks, Amy, for sharing the show.
Yeah, take a moment and share if you would like to be up next, which right now let's take it by Timothy. But this question states, and I'm going to send it out to you, from Amy Pope. She wants to know, what was your favorite memory from high school?
That's a good question. Amy, good question. Favorite memory from high school? When I was in gym class, there was this blonde-headed girl that was in the weight room class. I don't know what you call it, the weightlifters class or whatever. Wasn't weightlifters, but during our gym period, the weightlifting class would come out, and their coach would make them run around the outside of the gym, the court. So we were playing volleyball or whatever during our gym class, and this cute little blonde girl would come out in these little short shorts and run. She would run around the basketball court, and I thought she was pretty cute. That was my favorite memory.
Who are you talking about?
Her name was Tracy. I ended up marrying her. About 20.
Oh, okay.
20.
She wore short shorts. What?
Yeah, about 26 years ago or so.
I swear I cannot picture that.
Yeah, she was a cutie pie.
Ha, she's so cute. What you mean?
She is still cute.
Yeah.
But back then, with a little blonde hair, fake blonde hair, I'll note, she sold me blonde. I bought blonde. Give it a couple years later, before I even found out she wasn't blonde. So, there you go.
Smooth.
I tell people all the time when they ask me how I like my coffee, I said, just like my first wife, blonde and sweet. She's still my wife. She's just got different color hair. For
What?
the 10th time.
Looks good. I want to give
beautiful.
mine. I want to give my high school memory.
Okay, what is it?
Oh wow, it just left me. I swear, it just left me.
Well, you got 2 minutes and 47 seconds to think about it.
Compute. Oh,
Dial up.
okay. So my best high school memory, my best high school memory was
Your best what?
high school memory
Okay.
was when I was in my my CNA class, and we were doing the homecoming nominations, and my class was like, "We're gonna nominate you," and I was like, "No," and it wasn't even my class. We just knew it was gonna happen that day in one of our homerooms, and they were already talking about it, like, "We're gonna do it for you," and I was like, "This crazy! Don't do that. Don't waste your time. I won't win or none of that, right? I don't even care nothing about that." That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Well, I was nominated, and every single one of their homerooms by one of them. And not even nominated in my own homeroom. Nobody cared about me.
Oh, wow.
And then we had to go and say that we wanted to do it or not, because I got picked. They got voted for me to be picked to do it. And I said I didn't want to do it because it's stupid. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
And the lady who was doing it, her daughter was running against me that same year. And so she was like, "You wouldn't win anyway." So, and that, that's put fire under my hiney end. I was like, cool. Actually, want to put my name down.
Yeah.
Let me sign. Where I sign at,
Yeah, where
so
I sign up.
Yeah, so I did it or whatever. And then I started freaking out after I signed up. And I was like, Alyssa. Shout out to Alyssa. I was like, "Alyssa, what do I do?" And she was like, I got you. So we went shopping. We went shopping with Mrs. Frick. Thank you, Miss Frick, for being awesome. We're still friends. I'm going to go chill with her sometime. I swear, we're still friends. And
I believe you.
and they went and took me shopping. I got my little blazer and stuff, and they helped
Nice.
me. Yeah, and they helped me choose who I was gonna pick for, who's gonna escort me. And it was
Oh, yeah.
Rhett. Shout out Rhett. He was a good decision. And then everybody was doing these cool little things going into the gym, and he was like, "When we go, we're gonna twerk, swear." And I said, no, we're gonna get in trouble. He's like, "Who cares? We're in high school, we're seniors, let's do it." And I said, "You know what, you right, I picked the right one. We went in there, we twerked. How about I won?
Yeah.
I actually won."
You go, girl.
And they tried to put it in my face like, "Oh, you only won because you twerked." I was like, "I'm sorry."
I won because I'm better.
Yeah, I'm sorry because you ain't
You see how I did
blessed.
that?
Yeah,
You know that.
she was hot. That same lady who said you would not win was hot.
Yeah.
She,
Nice.
Yep.
Good job.
best story.
That's a
Okay,
good story. All
thank
right.
you.
Cool.
Next one.
Hey, who we got sharing the show? I want some props to whoever's sharing the show.
Yeah, actually, I had done that. Thank you so much, though, for Chris Porter sharing the show. I know you don't have any questions.
Chris.
You don't have any questions currently, but I appreciate you for sharing. If you want to, pop a question in
Nice.
there, that'd be great.
Thanks,
and
Chris.
Jeffrey, thank you, Jeffrey Turner. We
Cool.
appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys being solid watchers of the show.
Yeah. And our next question comes from Timothy
Oh,
Blankenship.
Kevin, you are awesome. And what did I tell you? What did I tell you, Kevin, when you asked me that Bob Lazar question a couple weeks ago? What did I say? I said I would go watch it and I would find out my opinions of it. And guess what? I'm a man of my word. I did watch the Netflix documentary on Bob Lazar, even though I think his name sounds like that song, How Bizarre. But Kevin, let me tell you what I think about Bob Lazar. I was very intrigued by the whole thing, the whole documentary. Because I was asking myself, is this a guy, and let me preface this, as everybody knows, if you've watched this show, I don't believe that there's aliens, and the reason is because everybody carries around cell phones that have video cameras in it, and if there were aliens, there would be thousands of video camera, cell phone footages shared on social media all the time, right? I'm not talking about doctored ones that you find and have to look for on YouTube. I'm talking about Billy Bob is sharing it. Hey guys, I saw another alien. Here's my right. I never see that. I never see that stuff on social media. And so there's how many billions of cell phones, instant video cameras are there, instantly available to document it. So that's preface to say that that's my belief why there's not aliens. I don't think there couldn't be aliens. I don't think that there's no chance that God created other life forms out there. It's a huge universe. I think there's definitely a chance that could happen. I just don't think any of them have come here to the earth. Now, that being said, that's my preface. I did watch this documentary with an open mind to see, hey, it could happen. Would it change my view of God? No, I would just be like, oh, cool. Some of God's other created life forms have come here. So I watched the documentary, and Kevin, I followed along. I didn't have any doubts about Bob Lazar until close to the end. He's drawing the sketch. He's in his kitchen. You know what I'm talking about? And he's drawing the sketch of what the flying saucer thing, I forget what term they used for it, but what the flying saucer was shaped like and how it functioned, and he drew like the middle line, and then he drew the engines and how those engines swiveled, right? And so when he started drawing that stuff, it just made me start thinking, well, how did those engines swivel, right? What was the mechanics because he said those engines hang down, right? The propulsion, and then they turn like this and they push the anti-gravity or antimatter. And I was like, then I started picturing, well, how does the mechanics work, right? How does that engine swivel? And I started thinking about the connections and what kind of swivel connections they had. And he didn't have any of that, right? You could tell he didn't have any of that. That's my opinion. I was looking and he didn't have any. In his mind, like, I'm not even an engineer, and that's the first thing I thought. So I started thinking, if he being a brilliant engineer, would have been the first thing engineers would have thought about. Like, how do these things mechanically swivel? How does all that? And he didn't have any of those parts of the plans. He was just very vague about there's these things, and they would move this way, and that's how it would propulse. And I was like, okay, he lost me there. An engineer can't tell me, so. There you go, Kevin. I don't think I can believe Bob Lazar based on his third grade level sketch that he drew of the mechanics of these things. You know what I mean? So he's gonna have to do better than that. He's this brilliant scientist mechanic, and he's just got to do better than that. So, but I did watch the show for you, Kevin, and I was very entertained by it. I enjoyed it. Go watch it if you don't blame me. Let me know what you think. Everybody watching this show, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch Netflix Bob Lazar special. And let me know what you think, if you agree with me or disagree. So, there you go.
He's saying that he does agree, actually. That his thoughts would be how would it swivel when there was no gravity around it.
Really? Mm-hmm. He thought of that too?
He said, I see that.
Nice.
Yep. So our next question here.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Our next question comes from Kendall Estes. She wants to know, why do people say I love you with my whole heart?
Oops, sorry. Because when they are thinking of how much they love you, they think that they love you with all of their being and all of their heart. And it's true. That's like at that moment when they're thinking about how much they love you, they're thinking that there is no more room in my heart for how much love I have for you. So my whole heart is filled with love for you. Does that make sense? So, you understand that, Mazzoni?
I hope nobody love me with their heart.
Yeah.
I want you to love me with something big on you. Like, I love people with my butt because it's bigger than my heart. What? I mean, I'm for real. Like, I love you with my whole hind end. Like,
yeah, but your when you think of your hind end isn't the thing that you feel that emotion coming out of. You know what I mean? It's not from your heart, your core.
I just feel that's just an organ that pumps blood.
If you walk up to me and be like, "I love you with my whole hind end," I'm gonna be like, "What?"
It's a good conversation starter.
Yeah, I guess so.
We should have a whole segment. Somebody asked that. What's some conversation starters? That would be a good one.
Yeah, that's funny. Thanks for that question, Kendall.
Okay. So this question comes from Sage Estes. He wants to know what are some facts.
Sage is our producer on the lamb.
He wants to know what are some facts that you know about African culture.
Why would you ask me that? You stick me in this room with two beautiful black ladies and ask me what, I don't know nothing about African culture. Oh my gosh. Let me think if I know anything about African culture. What are some facts that you know about African culture? I know this. They can sing. Right? You ever see those like Shaka Zulu movies, man? They be singing and dancing. Right? Am I wrong?
Cut.
Not all of us can sing.
He didn't ask me like what can all black people do. He said what is some facts about African culture, the culture. Like when I think of African culture, like I think about like heritage and right. And so pretty much every African movie like about Africa that I've seen, they're like always like doing some kind of dancing, and there's probably purposes for all their dancing. Like, and I know this. Did you guys watch Shaka Zulu? Did you guys ever see that movie?
I probably need to.
I don't know how historically factual that is. Yeah, you should watch that before you want to move there. That's for sure. But anyway, I don't know how.
It's part of the Zulu nation.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They're a very powerful nation.
Yeah, I don't know how factual that movie is, but it was very entertaining and very interesting, educational about the way that, if it is factual, the way that those things took place back
Shaka
then.
was a warrior.
Right?
I didn't watch the movie, but I know who Shaka Zulu is. Like, I know a lot about African culture.
Okay.
It's a responsibility. I don't know enough, but I know a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've been learning a lot, too. If you want to learn some more, go on YouTube, look up the Home Team. He'll educate you on some African culture.
What part of Africa?
All kinds. Central Africa, Northern Africa. I've been learning about the South recently and about some of their structures. And I've been learning about like how in Greek mythology, a lot of those people that they talk about are the Ethiopian people, are black people, but they're left out. Just like what's the interesting fact about African culture that I just learned? What's that story about Hercules and is it Scythe? It's a lady, she's chained to a big old boulder in the sea for this dragon monster to eat her.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they always say that she's a white woman, but she's not. She's black. And he loved her and tried to marry her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they try to leave that out, swear. There's a lot you don't know.
That whole story's fake, right?
It is fake, but
Okay.
it's a tradition that's passed down.
You getting all hot about a
but I'm
story
just
somebody
saying,
came up with.
Like, how they tell, in Disney, we learn about Hercules, we learn about, we hear about Osiris, we hear about all these Greek mythologies and stuff, and about all these animals, just like the, what is it? What's that flying wing thing? He got wings. They have it in, you know what I'm talking about? And he got a eagle head and wings.
I do not know why you're not on the full camera because I need to see all that body action.
I'm just trying to think about what he's called. I forget. It's funny.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but
I don't know if I've ever heard of anything that you're talking about.
he's got an eagle head and wings, but he's got like a lion butt.
A lion behind, eagle head and wings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I forgot what it's called, but it apparently the Greeks took that from us. That's a creature that is in
Took it
our
from who?
mythology, from African culture. It's in
Okay.
our mythology, but they claimed it,
Oh, really? Okay.
and it wasn't even them. Actually, it was the European people who brought the knowledge of their culture.
But when you say from our mythology, the African mythology, you're talking about a very large piece of land.
Yeah.
So, like, Africa is numerous countries.
Okay, so you want me to specify?
Yeah, so you say the Greeks, which is part of Europe, right?
Uh-huh.
So Europe. So you're saying the Greeks, which is one country out
Yeah.
of a huge land mass. Is Greece part of Europe or part of?
Thank you, Sage. Sorry.
So the point I'm saying is you're referencing one country from Europe. I think it's Europe. I'm sorry, y'all, if I got that botched. One country from Europe and comparing it to an entire continent. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So, when you say
Listen.
African, is it like that's like a very diverse place with
Right.
lots of different countries.
Right. And I get that. And I apologize for that. I don't know enough. That's what I mean when I'm saying I don't know enough. You definitely need to go watch this guy on YouTube that talks about the home team. He will explain it. And he is actually a teacher. And he's very thorough. I just don't really retain information. I get bits and pieces. I have to rewatch things.
Okay.
That's just my issue. But yeah, it's probably like Central African mythology. And it's just specifically Greek mythology stole that particular animal.
I got you.
This is the animal, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called, though. You're wrong,
Well,
Sage.
what's it say?
It doesn't say. It really doesn't. I really don't know what it is.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry.
All right, let's go to another question here. How we doing on time there, Shay?
7 minutes and 50
All right, we got a couple questions coming out of this.
So our next question comes from Letitia Speaks. She wants to know how long is too long to date
How long is too long to date
or be engaged?
or be engaged? Well, the purpose for dating, in my opinion, is to determine if, well, technically, you guys, if you remember my show, the part of our show a while back where I talked about dating, and now the girls are getting squirmy because they don't think I want to go into this whole thing. But I won't do all of it. But if you remember, we had a whole segment on this a couple shows back where the Big Van theory is that you can date. Dating, the term for dating is to go on a date, right? Isn't that the term? So you meet somebody, you go out on a date. Courting, I think, is where a lot of Americans use the term dating improperly. So dating is when you meet somebody and you go out on a date, right? And you can do that multiple times with somebody, so therefore you can say, I'm dating that person. And also, that once you like that person and decide you want to go further into a relationship with them, you can enter into what's called courting. Now, courting is a relationship with somebody to determine if you want to marry them. I think that's where a lot of Americans get that mixed up. So, what we call dating, and not traditionally, but improperly in America, is really should be considered courting. That's where you're committed to somebody until you decide if you're going to marry them. Once you decide you're going to marry them, that's called engagement. Now you're engaged to somebody and you set that date and you say, I'm engaged until this date when we become married. See that? So there's a process: dating, courting, engagement, marriage. But a lot of Americans get that all jumbled up, and I did too when I was younger. Went straight from dating to engagement with an indefinite time, So her question is how long. She said how long is dating, but I think what she's really asking is how long is engagement, right? Because she wants to know is how long does two people be committed to each other before they get married, right? Because commitment is a key word there. Really long enough to plan the wedding. That's what I think. Like long enough that it takes. So once you decide you're going to marry this person and you've decided this is the person I am going to marry. After that, what's the point in waiting, right? So from that point, you need to schedule it out far enough away to where you can make all the wedding plans and get all the relatives flying in, and get all of the caterers lined up, So a couple months, probably 2-3 months, maybe something like that. Once you decide for sure this is the guy, this is the person. If you follow the Big Van plan, once you decide this is the person, you don't have to have a real long engagement period. Big Van plan is you can date whoever you want. Dating is not a commitment. You can date 5 people at the same time. Doesn't mean sleeping with them. It means dating them, going out on dates, different things, entertaining, getting to know them. Then once you narrow that down to the person you think, wow, this person might be somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with, then you move into a courtship, which is more of a commitment. You're not in courtship with a lot of people at the same time. You're in courtship with one person, on the premise that you will move from that into an engagement. Once you're through that courtship period, you move into engagement, and then you set your date. That doesn't have to be a long time because you've already gone through courtship, which is when you determine whether or not you want to be married to that person. You get through the courtship, you get engaged, set your wedding date. Boom, there you go. Holy matrimony. What are y'all doing over there?
I was reading comments, but I was listening. And I heard holy matrimony, and I was like, who got married?
What? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marriage, important.
Honeymoon.
We're done. Okay, so next question. This next question comes from, let's see. Kendall Estes. This is a good one. What is the point of being atheist if your whole goal is to prove that something doesn't exist without you exists? Wouldn't you have to believe it does to prove that it doesn't?
I think I understand what she's asking there. She's saying, if it doesn't exist, then why are you trying to prove that? Meaning, like, people that don't believe that, I won't say his name because there might be kids watching this, but the heavy-set fellow with the white beard and the red coat in December? If somebody doesn't believe that he exists, they probably don't spend a lot of time. I don't know anybody that spends a lot of time trying to disprove that he exists. You know what I mean? So
He is real.
that's fine if you want to believe that, but I think I see what Kendall's asking is, and of course I'm not an atheist, so I can't really speak to this from that standpoint. I've actually never been an atheist. I was raised in a Christian home. I've been friends with Jesus. I don't have a memory where I didn't believe in Jesus. So, so people that have been atheists in the past, why don't you chime in and let me know, what Kendall's saying here, what is the point of being an atheist, I think that I'll tell you this. Let me ask you this. If you are watching this and you are an atheist, let me ask you this question. If you could believe that you can have a relationship with the creator of the universe, an all-being, all-powerful, all-loving God, if you could believe that, would you want to? That's my question. If you could, I know you can't because, you have an issue with that. But if you could, would you want to have a relationship with an all-loving creator? That's my question. And let me know in the comments. Let me know in the post. Let us know what you think about the whole show and all the other questions that we've had throughout this evening. Thanks for being what would we call these people? Would we call them viewers, fans?
They're the fam.
Big Van fans.
You Van fam. You're the Van fam.
Yeah, the fam, family. We love you guys. Really, we do. We look through your comments and we read them after the show and we talk about you. We're really thankful that you're a part and that you share this show with other people. We really are. If you're one of my children or one of my grandchildren or generations after me watching this show in 30, 40 years and you just want to know what I look like when I was younger and handsome, I encourage you to do the same. I was talking a minute ago, just ask the Lord to give you some new insight on him and who he is. Because really, it's an amazing relationship to have. So I love you guys. I love all you viewers, all the Big Van fam. We look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of the Ask Big Van Show. Go to our YouTube page and follow it or subscribe to it. Also, we're going to be launching our podcast pretty soon, so look for links for that. If you guys are podcast listeners, you can go back to all of our old shows and check them out. So thank you all for watching. We love you. God bless you. See you on the next episode next week of the Ask Big Van Show. Have a good evening.